Yeah. Yep.
This is dumb.
Yeah. Always cursing.
I don't want to do this right now.
You knew we owed this to the faithful fans, to the fans that pay for this.
My back hurts.
Yeah. I know it does.
Nice glasses. Do you actually need glasses, you jackass?
No, I don't actually. Take them off. It's a good point.
Makes you so mad.
So it's over. It happened, guys.
Thank God it's over.
I mean, the rivalry is really not, but the match we knew was coming is over, and it happened, and Houston happened, and I don't really know what else to say about it. To be honest, I don't have that much to say about it.
You and I talked. We talk every day. We talked before the match, and we were both saying, "I can't wait till it's over."
Yeah.
Because here's the truth. I mean, you're one of my best friends, and competing against your friend in something when we're both competitive and we both care about it, it can lead to issues.
Yeah, we knew there was going to be speed bumps. That's the thing, is we talked about this a long time ago. When he put me through that table back in December, there was a real sense we knew that, like, okay, we're going to compete against each other. The story is going to serve it. But the thing about Schmoedown that's so interesting is that it is fantasy meets reality. It's really not just everybody that competes. We're not all super close friends. Some people you like more than other people. Some, like if your buddy is hanging with a group of people that you don't get along with that well, and then he becomes somebody you're competing against, like, it's going to cause problems. And so, I'm not going to go into any specifics, but there are friction points that have happened, and they got absolutely exemplified going into this match.
I mean, I'm glad that we're at the age we're at now.
Yeah,
because like a younger me, would have.
I don't
know what I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done. It might have been like a real problem in our friendship.
Yeah, I mean, I hit you with a chair. So
you hit me with a chair, and we both really care about this. Like, Ben, you talk a lot more openly about studying and watching movies, and your whole 100 movies.
Right.
I have all these things. I have movies. We talk religiously about how we don't even get to watch movies that we enjoy anymore, or not. That's not the right way to put it. We don't get to rewatch movies that we love because it's a waste of time when you need to be studying.
Yeah. It feels like when you see when I watch movies on airplanes, I'm on something like 15 airplanes a month, and when I watch movies on airplanes, I watch bad movies I've never seen before over like classics that I've seen, because I'm like, well, date night's on this flight. I guess I better see how much a date night I can get done, because there's probably some actor in date night that I'm going to get asked about someday.
Or like someone will mention said actor or said film that you haven't seen. You're like, okay, cool. Now I need to know who directed it. I need to know who started it. I need to know what year it came out. I need to know. Well, I don't really know what year it came out. Let's be honest. But like, you do. You got it's changed and ruined movie watching for, I'd say, 99% of competitors that want to be champions.
Yeah, we have the luxury of doing shows together and having content that we make together like this, so that we are forced to work through anything shitty that happens. So like in the week leading up to the match, we had a conversation on the phone where I effectively told you had nothing to lose in this match. I had everything to lose.
Yeah, and it pissed me off. It really did. It really did. And I didn't say anything to you because I know how much you care.
Yeah.
And I don't think you care more than I do. I really don't. I just think that we have different ways of caring.
Yeah.
I look at this as a platform to show people that I'm a fucking performer.
Yeah.
A true, living, breathing, that's all I want to do. You are also a performer, but you also are trying to prove that you are one of the greatest people at movie trivia out there. I'm not. I know that. I've had great moments, and I know a lot more about movies than the general public.
Yeah, you know a lot about movies.
But when you told me that I had nothing to lose, that was when it started to kind of tiptoe into our friendship. Because it was like, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm probably the most competitive person you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it wasn't a mind game when you saying that.
No, it was just an arrogant thing.
Just an arrogant. It's not even arrogant. I just think maybe you just weren't thinking about it because you know me well enough to know that, like, me winning a belt at the end of 2019 is not my goal.
Well, it is.
A singles belt.
I mean, it is. It's just not your only goal. It's not the primary reason you're in it.
Right, but it's just not going to happen. I just don't see it happening. Whereas
Sure.
like a team belt at the end of 2019, totally can see it
Oh,
happen.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, team belt in 2017, 2018, 2019, I can see all these things happening much, much more. And it's not because I get carried by my teammate. It's because I just don't like. I enjoy, and I've talked to you and Christian about this a good amount. Teams is where personalities thrive and
Yeah.
where drama thrives. Whereas, like, now that the singles has gotten so serious, a lot of the time it's just two people sit down, they do their thing, and they walk away.
And a lot of the fans want that. That's what the singles game is. I
Yep.
mean, we knew basically that going into this match that there was a chance it would cause a real not like a horrible rift, but like a rift. I think we knew that it was a risk. And it was a risk we were willing to take. That I'm glad we did. The match was unbelievable. We got an incredible product, and there was a lot of. I mean, first of all, the rivalry is not over. You still are on a team that is in a faction that is against my faction.
Yeah, our paths are still going just like this in teams. They will collide unless for some reason the family just completely shits the bed, which we won't, because even if I do, which I can, Drew McQueenie is one of the greatest to ever play the game.
He's incredible.
He really is.
So there's some more behind the scenes stuff, maybe a little more specific that we don't want to share in this part of the video. There's a small number of patrons that are really, really devoted Action fans. They want to hear what we have to say.
They've watched every one of these.
That's what we're going to share, I think. So stay tuned kind of towards the end of this video if you want to hear some of that stuff. There was some weird behind the scenes stuff that we want to talk about, but I don't think we're going to put it here. And then, I think the last thing to talk about is... No, I think we'll save it.
You want to save it?
I think we should save
Nothing else.
I mean, there's stuff we could say. It's just like this is public. This is the public part of the video.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Were you worried that you were going to choke? Like, I know leading up to it for the longest time you were fine. And then I know about a week out you started to waver. You started to doubt yourself a little bit.
This is what happened. I know that I, on a pure knowledge basis, am one of the best players that's ever played.
Yep.
I know it.
Yep.
I know it because my stats say it. I know it because the percentages favor me. I absolutely know that. I've been talked about as this great player, and I haven't won in a lot of big moments. And so even though it's only a few questions that have reflected it, it's really like there's like 5 or 6 questions ever that have like really been in big moments that or my opponent has just gotten their 5, whatever it is.
Right.
The narrative for this match was supposed to be that I choke at live events and I choke in big moments. And that all the pressure was on me because if I lose, I don't have a singles, I don't get to play in a singles tournament. And that you didn't care, that was like, Drew doesn't care, he's got nothing to lose, right? That was the story they were pushing.
That's basically the dastardly narrative, always.
So as we were leading up to the show, I started thinking about the reality of it and like how easy it is to lose a match. And it started to, I wasn't worried about losing. I just was like.
You were worried about things not going your way.
I can pinpoint every single moment. I can pinpoint every single like mistake choke moment that I've ever had in Schmoedown. I remember all of them.
I think we all do.
I remember the second in my mind that happened before I didn't answer the question correctly. I remember the second that happened in my mind when I decided to write the wrong answer. Like they're all like these little like, feelings that I can remember. And it doesn't matter how many times you do that, just like in sports, you commit an error or whatever, you still worry it might happen.
Yeah.
And I was really not thrilled about the idea of this match ending. And there was other things too. The story match with me and Dagnino versus you and McQueenie, which obviously it's not a fake match, but it's a slanted match in terms of
handicap. Slight handicap.
Even though I knew I was playing that match for the sake of the story, I still lost it, and it still was part of the narrative that all I was doing was losing in 2019. That's the thing that sucks. That's the part of this that's like, it's not anyone's fault. It's just that we're combining wrestling with a sport. We're
combining wrestling with a sport that has no predetermined factor.
You don't get to say to the commissioner, I'm not going to play that match because I don't gain anything from it. Like, he'll be like, okay, you're fired.
Right.
I'm going to get another performer who will play it because...
He would never say that.
Like, you have to, within reason, he's not going to say to Merle, play Drew again. Okay, if you don't, you're fired. Like, that's a true, you have nothing to gain from that match moment. Like,
and Dan knows that.
Yeah.
Dan and I will probably never, ever play again unless I go on a singles run and he still has the belt.
I hope you do.
I really do. I really do.
But
Dan does not like me.
I
I met his mother.
Really?
And her brother.
Yeah.
She's like, you should be nicer to my son.
Oh no!
I was like, I'm not this person. I promise.
It's all a character.
It's all a character. Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's gonna let's cut it.
Yeah, we'll cut it there. We don't need to let anything else go to the general public.
Yeah. So let's get into part 2 of this video.
Okay.
So now we are here in the official Action Army behind the scenes paywall, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it.
We're friends now.
I mean, we were friends before.
We've always,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of like. So, if any of you guys watched the tag episode, I think
and this is like where our true friendship comes in because
this is the like. So I will just give a round of applause to everybody involved in this event because this event was unbelievable.
It was absolutely mind blowing.
It was one of the most fun things I've ever gotten to be a part of, and there was a lot of elements to it that really made it special. And we're so interested in putting on the best show possible. There was a lot of comments on this video that talked about how much we've done for story building in the Schmoedown and like
how no one's done for characters and story what we've done since we joined the league. And honestly, I don't care about tooting my own horn. It's true. This show would not have ever happened if we didn't join the league. Period.
You're saying Houston?
Yeah.
Yeah. You said to me the other day, we wouldn't be where we are without the Schmoedown, and the Schmoedown wouldn't be where it is without us.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good point. Like I think if I think about that statement, it's like the Schmoedown would exist today totally. The biggest stars would be some of the same people that they are. You would have Dan and John and guys like that. And the live shows would have happened. It just wouldn't have the intensity, and I don't think it would have grown in the same way that it did.
There would have been no tackles. There would have been no TK over Merle. There would have been no like Ben Bateman runs all the way to the finals with 2 different teams. Like,
there's just,
best friends breaking up. Like, it just wasn't there.
Well, there hasn't been another player or players that have come in that have occupied the space like we have in the 2 years since we've been here. There's been other players that have been really good in one way or another.
And it's not to say they haven't worked really hard.
No. And I love Smets. I think Janine's unbelievable. I think some of the newer players have been terrific. But it's a combination of what we brought, which is like the theatrics plus the actual trivia knowledge, is the hardest thing to find. And there hasn't been another player or players that have come in. Now, it hasn't been that long.
And the other thing too, and this is going to sound kind of crazy coming from us, we have zero ego when it comes to building the Schmoedown. Like, after that live event when we lost to the Shire Wolves, there was a tough pill to swallow before putting on both those promos. Before Ben had to come out and dress up as Merle, and before I had to put on the promo to bring out the Horsemen. And the same thing in Houston.
And the same thing when I lost to the Shire.
Same thing you lost. Yeah, and then I had to tag you through the table. Every single one of them is one of those things. It doesn't not hurt. It doesn't not suck to lose. And then be like, cool, well, that didn't go the way I thought it would, and now I have to be embarrassed.
Hit with a chair.
Yeah, or like I have to be put through a table, or whatever it is. It's tough.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna kind of go beat by beat here, guys.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some dirt, some behind the scenes stuff. We don't want to put anybody on blast or embarrass anyone. So we'll pick our moments here, but there's definitely stuff that I don't want to put on a public YouTube video that you guys, the patrons, will hear from us, because this is Ben and Drew not talking, not the boss and Dastardly.
Right.
So the first thing is the tag episode.
So good.
And it's available. You can watch the whole thing. We knew going into that, we talked to Christian about it, there had to be this like careful interplay where we were going to jump from this and our rapport on the show, which we knew we had to start that way, otherwise people would think it was fake.
Yep.
To some heat at the end.
And it had to be just uncomfortable enough of heat so it didn't feel like it was fake.
Yeah.
And it was like, so we're sitting there and Ben's getting worked up, and like I've been your good friend for a very long time. Yeah. It felt like I was looking at me. Yeah. And you were probably looking at me.
I loved that after the fact, you looked kind of, when we turned the cameras off, I just started laughing. I was like, what did I do? And you were like, I mean, were you mad?
I was like, you almost got me. I was like, if I didn't know you better, I would have thought you were furious. But I do know you better, and even if you were mad, that's not how you would have acted mad on camera for your audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts for a year. I moved out here when I was 17 to be an actor. Yeah. I came out here again when I was 21 to be an actor. I don't want to be an actor anymore, but I understand when you're supposed to use how you feel and tap into things that are really there to push something. So I did hear the narrative that I choke in big moments.
Yeah.
I have heard the criticism that all I do is study surface level movie shit. You use those things. I responded to those things. I wasn't pissed, but I was letting those things fuel.
You were letting it drive you.
The performance.
And it was great because Christian and Brandon were sitting in there, and you could see both their faces.
Yeah.
They did not know you were doing what you were doing.
Yeah, I think, and so that was great. That was
That was awesome.
That was a success. I was really happy with the way that video went. And so,
looking at the second bullet, and I'm like, what does that even mean? And now I'm like, oh yeah, it's great.
So then we go like an hour later. We're in a production meeting for our various shows for Action Industries, and we go to these promos for Booker's radio show, and we had to just step out from our production meeting and each do them in the car. We just did them in the car. We called in separately, but like together. I was in the car for his, he was in the car for mine. So I like, heard him doing his promo, which is funny.
Ben called in first, and I was like, I want to listen. He was like, yeah, you can listen. So I sat in his back seat, and I listened to him do the promo. Yeah. And then it was like, I got text from Brad Gilmore being like, hey, Drew, you can call in and get put on hold. You'll be put on next. And then so it was like, I'm sitting there listening to Ben. I'm just like, I'm like in the background, like rolling my eyes, laughing. And then I call in. And I didn't realize I was on speaker when you called, but I didn't put my phone on speaker. I just thought it was that loud. So you couldn't actually hear what was going on. But I was sitting there being like, man, if only people knew that the biggest rivalry right now is literally sitting in the car next. Like Booker and Brad didn't know we were in the car together.
No, of course not.
Those promos were great.
Yeah, they were great. And again, like there's less than 100 of you guys that we expect to watch this.
Yeah.
And if 2,000 of you watch this, we're gonna stop doing these. Because we probably can't.
Yeah.
There's only so much honesty that we can really give to the diehards because it's a tiny, tiny, tiny 1% sliver of the audience.
And what's also still great about these is that like even if we are divulging more information than every competitor out there, it doesn't take away from what we did.
It's a performance.
Because we still wanted to win. We still actually we still used shit talk.
Yeah, of course.
That had to do with one another.
Yeah. So we do that show. That's the Wednesday, and we both fly out on Friday. And so we're using our various methods of studying. We're gonna get to the wheel in a little bit here, but this is actually really fun. I haven't even told you this. I'll tell you when we get there.
Not happy about the wheel.
Yeah, I'm really proud of how this all went down. You still don't know this. So
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being set up once again. What is this? Tell me. What?
For categories, we found out during you might have even expected that I did it, but I knew or expected you were going to pick Apatow. And I specifically did not put on Twitter or let anyone know that I was watching the Apatow movies, that when we studied Apatow as a team, you watched and I didn't. So funny people.
I already knew this.
Yeah. Oh, I told you this?
No. I know you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I
knew. So here's the thing. We talked about the wheel categories. And you guessed one of the two. Yeah. And you thought I was going to be clever with the other one, which I thought about doing. But at the end of the day, I picked Nolan and Apatow because they're two things I know the best. Yeah. Fincher was the other one, but Fincher just doesn't feel... Yeah. You like Fincher more than I do.
You went for a home run, which I totally get.
Because you have to.
Got to play to win.
I mean, you hit a home run.
Yeah.
I went for a home run. Yeah. And I knew that you were going to be caught up on Apatow. 100%.
I was going to watch Funny People, and I was going to watch I knew that you weren't going to do Kevin Smith because Kevin Smith wasn't an option. Yeah, it wasn't available.
And I knew that you wouldn't do Nolan because you don't need to do Nolan. And honestly, I would have picked Nolan over Apatow for that exact reason.
You probably knew my categories anyway.
100%. I knew you'd pick Oscars and movie release dates. Yeah. Those are your categories because not only are they weaker for me, but at the same time, you just go for what you know best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so as far as studying goes...
So you'd watch them all?
I didn't actually go back and rewatch the ones that I had. So like I didn't go back and rewatch Knocked Up, 40-Year-Old Virgin, or Trainwreck, but I watched Funny People and This Is 40.
Okay.
Because I'd never seen those movies.
Yep. What'd you think?
Both pretty good. Funny People's sort of just above average.
Yeah.
Is good. It's like a less mature movie or something like that. It's funny that it's with Sandler and about Sandler because it like is just about Sandler.
Yeah.
He like
just is that guy.
Yeah. Which is fun. This Is 40 was good.
It's fine. Yeah, they're both fine.
Yeah, they were good. But I mean, it's just like it wasn't going to take that much work to catch up. So I did that. And then other studying, which I'm not going to talk about too specifically here, just because we're still in the season and still going, and I have a lot of shit that I'm working on. I have like legit like
the same way that Kalinowski has lost it with his Twitter battles. You've lost it with your studying.
Yeah, it's like
you've gone off the deep end.
There's like a folder on over there. Yeah,
I wish we could just take a minute to talk about Kalinowski, but we won't. We won't.
Yeah.
You got a study folder over there.
Oh, yeah. I got several. I've got all methods that I've been using. So, but anyway, getting back to the match. So, studying and cramming, I think we both knew there's, over a long period of time, you can improve. In a couple days, whatever, the days before the match, I was just trying to, I was more worried about, I wanted to, I don't know, like in the days before the match, I wanted to like work out a lot and like feel good physically.
Yeah, like mentally, you want to feel like
not drink and like
Yeah.
hydrate and like shit like that.
Yep,
Like I was just trying to really like go.
you don't want to worry about how you look on stage.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You want to be in the zone.
So we both get in. You got in the night before I did, or you got in like
I got in the morning of the day that you got in at night. I got in at like I think I think there at like 3 p.m. You got there at like 10 p.m. right?
Yeah, and and the venue was far from the hotel.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the airport was far from the hotel, so we Ubered out. It took forever to get there. You went out, right?
Oh, I got shit faced.
Yeah.
I went out and partied with the fans at Ellis's show. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a real good time. It was really cool to because you've been to live events not in LA.
Yeah.
And it's much different when you're not in LA because in LA people they still care and they still definitely shout you out.
Yeah.
But you're also in LA. You know, Keanu Reeves could be around the corner.
For sure.
You know?
And I went to, the first...
like I said, Keanu.
Yeah. First out-of-state one that I went to, like, in New York, it was, like, unbelievable. And, like, meeting everybody, like,
you called me
right
when you got off stage, being like, it was electric.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to go out and meet you guys at these events. And so you went for it.
I bought 0 drinks that night, and I got very drunk.
I got stoned and ordered Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good.
To my
very
hotel.
Good. Yeah.
So the next morning, we met in the gym.
We did. Well, it was funny because it was totally by accident, but it was also, we both know each other.
I was like, all right, so Drew was up late. I know this because he was texting me. I was like, he's going to wake up. He's going to move slowly hungover. He's going to end up in the gym probably a little before 11, maybe 10:30. I was like, that seems about right. And I was like, now, I'm not hungover, but I just like my morning, and I'll probably end up in the gym about 10:30, 10:45.
And I literally texted you, so what are you up to?
Yeah.
And I wanted to know what you were up to because I knew you were going to say, about to go to the gym. And so Ben walks in the gym, and guess who's there?
Yeah.
Me. I'm sitting there in the gym, already working out. He walks in the door. I'm like, hello, Ben.
Yeah. There's a picture. Actually, there's a picture of us in there. That's funny.
It's great. I'm on the elliptical, and you're on the bench.
Yeah.
Our backs to each other, and the whole place is empty. It's a wonderful shot.
It's funny. So that's like the pre whatever. We get ready for the event or whatever.
Well, and also in those moments, like we weren't ourselves with each other. It's like, how you doing? Good. You ready? Ready? It was like, like an elephant in the room or whatever.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this as we get a little closer to the match, because there was definitely more of that as we led up to the match, the actual going on stage. Like we get to the event, we actually rode over to the venue together.
Yep. So funny.
We rode over to the venue together, and
that Uber driver was a character.
He was a character. Weird guy.
Put a bag over her head. Jesus.
Yeah. We get to the venue, and then that's when it starts to, I think, really start to feel real. Like, so you walk in, and it's a wrestling ring, and everybody's talking about stunts. And at this point, we think that you're getting put through a table. That was what we had talked about.
That was the plan. Yeah.
They'd
even bought a table.
Yeah.
They bought a breakaway table the same way we did, but I think it was probably bigger.
Yeah, it wasn't a balsa table. It was like So that's what we thought was going to happen. And it was unclear, kind of like
who was going to do it, how it was going to go down.
Different people discussed, and we had to kind of talk to people about it. And so we show up.
Should we tell them the original plan? I feel like we should. Christian wrote the backstory for the other plan that I came up with, by the way. I wrote that whole plan.
Which one?
The secondary storyline if I won.
You're the one that he posted. You're talking
about. That I wrote. But I'm talking about the original plan of like... So the original plan was that other people were supposed to put me through a table. It wasn't actually supposed to be you doing the act of violence.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I don't even have to say who it was. Yeah. But yeah, the original plan was basically that like I would win or lose, go to tackle Ben based off of either joining the Horsemen or beating me, and other people were going to catch me, stop me, and essentially put me through a table.
Right.
But we get to the set, and they're like, I think we're going to do a chair instead.
And we showed up maybe 15 minutes later than our call time, and they were already kind of pivoting away from the table. We found out about the chair, and tensions were running pretty high. Like, they had made a safety announcement, nobody do a fall in the ring. We weren't there for that. Drew does a fall in the ring. Everybody flips out. You didn't hear it. Like,
and I flipped out right back.
Well, that was later. The first one
was fine because it was like, they were like, oh, you can't do that. And it was like, oh, they weren't here. But then maybe 20 minutes later, you and I were practicing the hit in the chair, and I faked like flopping on my face.
And you got yelled at.
And I got yelled at, and I was not having it.
No.
And honestly, I think I was completely in the right in that moment.
The whole thing is this, guys. Like, we have an immense level of respect for professional wrestlers, more so even than we did before. Because,
God, yes.
We rehearsed one hit. We rehearsed one stunt, and it was a good stunt. I mean, that's a good wrestling move.
Well, it didn't go right properly the first time because I've never done a chair hit before in my life. I've done stage combat. I've done taekwondo. I've never been hit in the stomach and then hit in the back with a chair. So we're practicing it once, and I put my head too low.
Yeah.
And I catch myself on the chair and I cut my lip.
I mean, so the person that got most upset when you did the second fall after they told us, it was Ellis. And, and you guys kind of barked at each other. And then later, backstage, I said, yeah, tensions were hot. And Ellis just looked at me and said, I don't like stunts.
Yeah.
And that's the point, is that this is a show about movie trivia. We're getting to a point where there's physical activity and, like, we're having to actually do these moves. But, like, people aren't totally... I don't want to say comfortable, but, like...
They're beyond uncomfortable.
It makes people involved, like, tensions run high because we're doing stuff that you have to be careful with.
And at the end of the day, they are the owners and the producers, and we're the talent.
Exactly.
So if something horrible happens to us, they're the ones that have to pay for it. And Ellis and Christian came up to me separately, especially after I cut my lip.
Yeah.
Because when I cut my lip, for you guys that have ever cut your lip before, it's a lot of show for a small injury. So I have a cut, but my whole mouth fills with blood.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm going to need stitches.
Yeah.
And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God, it's fine. But anyway, so they both come up to me at one point and they're like, if you don't want to do this, give us a safe word. Whether it's in the ring, whether it's after, whether any moment you want to say X word, we'll cut the stunt and we'll figure it out.
Right.
I'm a stubborn motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, you wanted to do it.
I wanted to do it.
Well, so that's the thing. So Christian actually made a post on Facebook about a secondary storyline. He said, like, just because, and we'll talk about this briefly, but the stuff with the wheel, like, whatever, we'll get to that. The point is, there was a lot of negative comments on Facebook about the outcome of the match.
Yeah.
And he made a comment about both storylines having been written. And what happened was he had 2 storylines written. It's just one of the storylines didn't involve you getting hit with a chair. But we rehearsed the chair 6 times. I hit you with the chair at varying levels of speed. About 6 times I cut your lip. Before it was established that the other storyline, because it wouldn't have fit with my character, because it was a heel move to hit you with a chair if you were to win, wasn't going to happen. At which point you were like, no.
I was like, sorry. If we rehearsed him hitting with a chair, and my lip is bleeding, and we figured it out, that has to happen.
Yeah.
And not only does it have to happen because of my ego of already doing all that, but also because of the show.
Right.
And we both know that's a better show at the end of the day. And that's what matters most to us.
So then we kind of worked it out, and Christian, what he wrote in the Facebook post is exactly the storyline he came up with right then. You know, he figured it out. Okay, so Roxy's here. She's getting a little too close, right? All that stuff. It didn't end up happening. But in the rehearsals, you know, the first 4 times I hit you, I was hitting you like 50, 60%.
You don't know. I mean, it's completely counterintuitive to being a human being in their 30s. That's assault with a deadly weapon anywhere else in the world.
I came down on you.
You know?
And even like on the 3rd or 4th time, like I came down pretty hard, I thought. But it just wasn't.
It just looked bad, apparently, to everyone. I mean, it didn't feel bad. Or like it didn't feel like it looked bad. You know what I mean?
So on the last rehearsal, I clocked you. I actually think I hit you harder in the last rehearsal than live. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like you hit me harder live, but who knows? Yeah. But the last rehearsal happened, and we were like, "That's it." And that's one that everyone got on video.
Yeah,
because it was after the lip had been cut, and it was after we'd kind of been. The other thing too is anytime there's a physical event in the Schmoedown, there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions. Especially because we come from a group of people with a lot of backgrounds in wrestling, whether it's Jay Washington or Ken Nabzok or BC or Brad.
A lot of them are wrestlers or have been wrestlers.
Exactly. So
everyone wants to tell you this is how you take a fall. I mean, when we did the bump into the chair or the table back in December, you know, like everybody was like, don't do this, do this. And it's like in the end, I did exactly what they told me not to do with my wrist because like I've never gone through a table before.
Right. And in the moment, human instinct kicks in. You're like, I don't want to fall on my head.
So we rehearsed the chair hit. Everybody kind of gets established this is going to happen. And then it starts to getting to like the 30 to an hour before the match. And
at this point, we've finished rehearsals for like hours now at this point with the chair. And it's just basically a bunch of high octane energy backstage just waiting to go perform.
Yeah. And so, you know, the first match starts, the double toasted guys, they go out there, founding fathers, and we're kind of watching from the wings. And I think you were doing this on purpose, but I kept trying to get away from you. I kept trying to walk away from you. And you kept coming and sitting next to me and like saying answers next to me, like I knew that answer. And I was like, by the second or third time you did it, I was like, he's definitely doing this on purpose. Where you were now?
Hey, we're just friends.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I know you well enough to tell that you were like feeding into the thing a bit,
Yeah, okay.
but I was also just like, I don't really care enough about like, like I'm not trying to fuck with you enough to piss you off.
Yeah.
And that's why I honestly gave you room at certain points.
Yeah, okay.
Like you sat on the incline bench thing for like 2 hours, it felt like, and I didn't really talk to you at all while you sat there.
I was literally talking in the like 15 minutes before the match started. Like when the other match was going on.
Yeah, because we were just sitting there watching. I mean, there was like 8 of us watching from the wings.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the only one saying that I knew the answers. It was me, you, Riley, Dagnino.
Yeah, but I'm obviously not paying attention to them. I'm just
Well, right.
Yeah.
But we're all doing the same thing,
So, but that all happens, and then like that's like halfway through round 1 of that match. That's I think when we both kind of get up and start just like pacing backstage. Because like then we're like 15 minutes from going on or whatever. At that point, I've decided to wear these fucking things, the fashion glasses, as my sister calls them. Made a lot of fun of me for these.
Your sister, really?
Yeah. I saw her in New York a couple days later.
And she was like, "Why are you wearing those?"
She streamed it. And
okay. Got it.
Fashion. I didn't wear these to meet my sister.
I don't know. You might have been feeling great about it.
And so, yeah, we like, I mean, like we get the categories on the wheel. Kurt Russell and Scarlett Johansson. Those are the 2 odd categories.
Yep. There was the 2 patron sponsored ones, and then it was like comedies, 2000s, thrillers.
It was a good wheel for us, honestly. Aside from the 2 categories you actually had to play.
Yeah, it was sweet. It was real fun.
It was interesting. Like I thought about this after the fact. You had to play movie release dates, which basically 3 people in the league can play, and everybody else just like tanks. Exactly.
That was like 2 years off on every one of them.
Yeah, which is everybody does. Like people it's just not an easy category. And I was thinking about this. Like you watch a basketball game, and there's a guy that's like
hook shotting.
He's got a hook shot, and he's 7'1", and he's playing against the point guard that's 6'2".
You got Kareem, and you're just like, I can do that.
And he does the exact same thing every time, over and over again. You're like, that's not even fun. That's stupid.
Right.
Why is that not
indefensible?
He shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Right.
But the guy that can do it, it's like that's the thing he can do.
That's why he's a legend.
Which is the point of movie release dates, which is why I have it as a category and why I love it. And that's the difference. That's the whole fucking difference in the match is that was on the wheel. If that's not on the wheel,
and then I spun opponents.
I'm saying, but if that's not on the wheel. Any other category. If I give you Oscars,
right, I would have
probably get 4 out of 8 points.
I got the fighter.
Yeah,
did you like that?
You did. Yeah.
Were you almost gonna not answer it correct?
The fighter.
Did you think about not answering it right because that was the knockout hit,
just to keep the match going?
Yeah. In which case, that was the moment where I was up there and I was like, I'm all for theatrics and I'm all for the respin.
Right.
If you keep this match going to torture me, I will fucking kill you.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
Which is why I literally just answered the question.
The reason I didn't. Because the other thing I could, so we'll get to the in a second. Okay. So yeah, whatever. We go into the match. The entrances are super sweet.
Yeah.
You come out with Booker. There's like a couple pictures of you like coming out with Booker that are just like
they're pretty sick.
Is it like a little surreal for you to watch it back or like look at the pictures of you with him just because as a kid and like now you're in a wrestling ring with Booker T and he's part of the show with you?
It just feels like I don't know, man. You get you get a lot of time where you just kind of feel like you're a fraud.
Yeah, right. I
feel like I'm kind of a fraud sometimes. Even though I know I'm an entertainer and I know that I put on a great show. To the end of the day, I'm just like, you look at that and 90% of people look at that and they go, who the fuck is that guy on the right sitting next to Booker T?
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So as much as I thought it was really awesome, which it was, and it was so cool to come out and then be like, oh wait.
Yeah.
But honestly, my favorite thing was the fact that Booker was so hyped and he got into the storyline. He got into talking shit. He flipped me off.
Yeah.
He did the whole thing.
He was great, man.
He's a great performer, and the only reason he's such a good performer in that show is because he was so bought in and sold on it. He was so hyped on Schmoedown.
It was really cool. He was
so hyped on Schmoedown, he corrected the pronunciation of Schmoedown to Schmoedown.
He listening to him talk the next day about on his radio show and saying us calling us out by name, these guys. It was one of the I got goosebumps listening to it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is a guy who's performed for literally in his life millions and millions of live fans.
I think that the text, because you and I obviously both get the text from Christian with the link in it, and we're talking to each other, and I was like, this dude has performed for 1,000 times as many, like a
Yeah.
50,000 person audience, and he still is like, these guys are stars. That was when I was like, damn, that's cool.
It was unbelievable. And so you come out with book and like, you know, all the entrances, we know these are all happening. You know, Roxy was staying at our same hotel. You know, she was the person in the gym that took the picture. Like, so we know she's there. And
We
she's
know
hyped.
R&B's there. We know everyone's
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Dagnino and everyone. And so show starts, you know, I come out. Now this is a funny thing. I got booed. You didn't.
I know, because I am what wrestlers love.
Yeah. I'm
Like
at this
wrestling
point
fans
in the
love.
story, if I'm not a loved character, I don't know when I'm ever going to be a loved character, because like there's no way I'm supposed to come out of that match and be booed. So that was like one of those like shit.
But you join the Horsemen, which there's this like weird fanboy group of like,
Yeah, but I hadn't joined him yet.
well, right, but I'm
Yeah.
saying now in the sense of like,
Oh, you're saying
even if people think, because you still won and hit me with a chair and joined our enemies, and people are like, sweet, the Horsemen, I hope there's a new shirt.
we'll talk about that in a second.
Don't do that. Don't do that thing with your hands.
So we come out, you know, the match starts, and this is one of my favorite things is I got to be closer to my former heel because I'm playing against you, so I'm allowed to.
And you love being a heel.
That's so much more than
It's
being
so
a
much
face,
better.
and I'm better at it.
Yeah.
It's being like that cocky asshole who says those things. Are you upset?
Yeah.
You seem upset.
You're right.
Like those are way more like who I like to
Was
be.
that Janine? Or
No, that was to you on stage when you didn't get the repeat from Christian, and,
Oh.
and I go, "Are you upset?" And I go, "You seem upset."
I just smiled.
So yeah, round one starts, and
Speaking of the repeat,
yeah. So
Yeah.
I have two things marked in our
Yeah.
notes here. One of them is the sum of all fears, which is that you asked for this repeat. And,
Ellis told me,
yeah,
and I know. Here's the thing: I've played the game enough times.
yeah,
I know when to say repeat. You say it at 2.
yeah.
You always do it at 2, but the thing is that room.
Yeah, the sound.
I
was
couldn't
bad.
hear what you were saying 3 feet away from me unless it was in the microphone.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't hear what you were saying in the microphone half the time.
Yeah.
So the next day in the airport, Ellis and Christian and I are on the same flight, and Ellis goes, he got it in. He did say the repeat. He got it in, and Christian's like, I guess I just fucked up. And Ellis is like, yeah, but there's a live audience, there's no playback, there's no way to contest it, so I
Yeah.
just rolled with it. And it's one of those things where I'm on stage, I could have challenged, and
Yeah.
I maybe would have won, but it's also like, there's so many other factors going on right now. If I do challenge, how do we even actually do it?
Well, and if you had perfect information, you would have challenged. But it's a live event. It's hard to remember to do that stuff live. I've had those moments where I think back. And
Well,
I'm
no,
like,
the audience was yelling challenge.
Oh,
They were
okay.
yelling challenge, and I was just like, it's just not worth it because how are we gonna know? We performed at live events before. We know how it works with the stream, and anyway, so I don't get the sum of all fears.
that's the first. That's I think the first miss. Maybe that's where you go behind a point, or maybe you miss one other. I can't remember.
I
What
might
it
have
was.
missed one earlier on, but we were basically going toe to toe.
And the one question I missed was, what is Ben Stiller's profession to meet the parents? Which is, and this is interesting.
Funny,
and I
'cause
think
I
it's
knew you didn't know
funny.
it.
Well, I know the line, "I have nipples, can you milk me?"
Right.
And I know that's from that movie.
Right.
And I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
I just haven't
But you-
seen it since it came out.
Right. And whereas like I probably seen that movie like 15 times.
Which is why I knew you would know it.
Right.
And so it's funny because one of your things you said to me is you have to watch movies. You can't, and that's exactly the kind of question I missed because it's a fucking context question. It's a plot specific moment in a popular movie that that tends to be the kind of questions I miss.
And the movie opens with him
yeah.
as a male nurse.
So I guess vet because I was like, man, nipples, maybe that's
Right.
the best
Cat,
guess.
milk,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
And so we finish round one, and they, Roxy enters, I think, after round one, right? That's when she comes out because R&B's before.
Yep.
And we go into round two, and you spin opponent's choice. And so
At that point, I know it's over.
you just know.
I know, because again, I've done this enough
Yeah.
times to know that if someone doesn't hear my repeat the question in
Yeah.
round one, in a round that I'm playing well in, and a question that I know the answer to,
Yep.
there's a lot going on up there.
Yeah.
You were shocked that I got Gus Van Sant. I can see. You turn and you're like, I love Good Will Hunting, but
I thought you might have just because you love that movie.
right.
Yeah.
There was like a couple questions up there where I could tell you were like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Drew came to play today.
Oh, it was Tia Carrere was the one that I was surprised about.
Yeah.
That's the one that I was, because you repeated and you got it.
Yeah.
That's the one I was surprised
I
about.
wrote Asia Carrera
Yeah.
first.
Nice.
She's a porn star.
Nice.
Um,
that would have been great.
I know. I almost thought about like how it would have been better to miss it
Just
and have
do
that.
it.
Yeah. So this is where I get Tia, I get Gus, And this is where I'm thinking, like, did you think it was like, okay, Drew's, because you've seen me have bad days. Everyone's seen me have bad days.
This is about how I see us in round one. I don't know exactly. I'd have to ask Janish this question. But my average in round one, I think, is like 6.7.
I would assume yours is close to 7. Yeah.
It's in the mid 6s, mid to high 6s, I think.
Right.
That tends to be. And I'll bet you your all-time average in round one is probably like
5.
4.9, 5.1, some in that range, right? So it's like 1.5 to 2 points, which is exactly how the round ended. It ended at a 2-point difference.
When it should have been 1.
Right. And so I was sort of, you got a couple questions right. And the thing is, this is, to answer your question, did I have the feeling if Drew came to play today, you were just doing what I was like kind of afraid you were going to do, which is like, you're not dumb. You know a lot about movies.
Yeah.
You've watched a lot of movies. You beat these great players partially because they had really bad days, but also partially because you had really good days. Like,
right. And anyone can have either of those days on any given day.
You just had a match I watched recently where you did very well, and it was intimidating to watch. And I thought, okay, that's impressive. Like, he's capable of doing that. We played enough matches together where you did well enough that it's like all that has to happen here is Drew has to be within a point or so of me in round one. I have to get a worse category than him in round 2 and get a context question in round 3, and I'm going to lose in front of these people.
Right. And that's
all it is.
And in my mind, I'm just like, I need to survive in round 1. I need to not land on opponent's choice in round 2. Fuck. And then in round 3, I'm fine. Because 2, 3, and 5, I could probably miss one of the 2 or one of the 3 and still maybe win. But
didn't happen.
Did not. Round 2 happened, and I spin opponent's choice.
So a couple things happen here. The first one is we go into round 2, and I make a stupid comment. This is like a classic example of the difference between you and me, which is like, you are a natural performer. And I'm a natural performer, but it's different. You're a natural performer, like, you don't tend to say things that are dumb. I'll just sometimes occasionally say something like doesn't make any sense, like in the moment.
Right.
So I was like, what? You like get your ass over there and spin the wheel. And you're like, it's a fucking electronic wheel. Like,
you want to go up there and touch it? Yeah, that's funny. I forgot about that.
It was like a literal, like, you shut your mouth when you're talking to me moment. And I was like, what? Like, truth be told, in the Snyder match in Chicago, where he was like, oh, I hope Tom gave you some good advice. He said it to me and Riley. And I was like, won you a title, right? What I actually meant to say was, I think exactly the opposite. I think I meant to say something like, well, like, he never won you a title, did it? Or something like that.
Right.
But, like, I actually said exactly what I was supposed to say, but like I said the wrong thing.
Right.
And at the moment I just tried to like not make an expression. And then it like it worked. But like I do shit like that sometimes.
Right.
Where it's like, I don't know what it is. Like, my mind's in a different place. But so
that's pretty funny.
I say this comment to
about that.
I say this comment to you. And whatever, you spin the wheel and it lands on movie release dates. And you go for the respin.
Of course.
And one of the things, and it's actually the people that are watching this video specifically, this is important too. We had half the action industry show up. We had about half of the company. We're working with, I think there's about 13 or 14 of you guys, probably all of whom are watching this. And about half you guys came to the show, which was amazing. We got to meet a lot of you for the first time. That was the best
part about the whole event for me.
And so the fans were so like vibrant for us, which was cool. And in a lot of the moments, like looking at Billy, like he's just going crazy. Looking at
Billy
Paul,
was losing his mind.
And looking at
love that
Liam,
Deniso went team
Will,
guy.
Like, it was so much fun having you guys in the front row.
Having our boys in our corner.
It just let, like, there was, I gave like the choke symbol at one point, I think, to Belford. But anyway, so you spin the wheel on his movie release dates, and I don't know, like some matches, man.
Second worst category I could have spun. The worst is opponents.
Some matches I have like a weightlessness to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's established somewhere in the first round, if I'm answering correctly or not, but there's just like I just have a weightlessness.
There's a moment where you feel like you're just untouchable. And
I had it in that match. It just happens sometimes. I had it. It was in round 1. It was something about the way the even like, and it's like the way you're getting to certain questions. Like, I almost said Aidan Gillen instead of Mike Myers. I almost outsmarted myself and said like,
I just haven't seen that movie.
And like, but like,
have you seen Bohemian?
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah,
I wish I watched it. I almost did.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's good. It's above average. Yeah. But like, we got into round 2 and you spun movie release dates, and I don't know. I just felt like the wheel was so good for me because the strengths you had picked were strengths I could hit
Right.
runs on. The worst thing that could happen is I'd get Kurt Russell or Scarlett Johansson, and we get the categories an hour before the match, so I had gone in and
we
done a
both
deep
studied
dive
them,
and just made sure that I could get the surface level stuff there. And
I literally was like, there's only 3 things I can't spin on that wheel. And I spun two of them. Yeah. The third one was the thing that you spun.
yeah, it was so let's talk about the wheel for a second. So you get opponent's choice.
Yep.
And it goes to movie release dates, and you know it's coming.
I do.
And
Because I know you're smart enough to not give me Oscars.
yeah, of course.
Because if you give me Oscars, I go 204 probably.
The reason MRD's on the wheel is so I can do exactly that.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, honestly, like I am more likely to take Oscar movies if I spin Spinner's Choice.
Of course, but
than I am to take. It's literally for exactly the reason of you spinning the 2 slices you spun.
Yep.
It's so that I have something on the wheel that's deadly, or that I can give an opponent's choice.
Yep.
So, and you were close.
I do what I always do. I'm like a year or 2 off every single one.
My question was this: so there's 4 movies. The first movie they ask you is There Will Be Blood, which I know you know that movie well.
Yeah. So I thought about where I was in college, and I was a year off. I was 1 year off.
Yeah,
which makes sense because it was either 2007 or 2008, and I guess 2007, right?
The second, you were just a year off.
Yeah, whatever it was.
The second one was
An old movie, I think.
no. One of them was 10 Things I Hate About You. One of them was Slumdog, and one of them was The Sting.
It was Slumdog.
So,
Yeah.
10 Things I Hate About You. I think you were a year off.
So the one thing I was like, okay, so the best thing I can do is go for multiple choice on every single one of these unless I just know it. And
Yeah.
I like got ahead of myself on Slumdog and There Will Be Blood, and I was off by a year on each, as I always am. Because I was like, okay, it's better for him to steal 4 than it is to steal 8.
Yeah, which is tough considering I'm up going into the round. But at that point,
but
what are you going to do?
that's still the best strategy.
So you know.
I don't get one question right.
No, I steal every point.
Still every point.
And on the last one on the Sting, you've never seen the Sting, right? No. So
it's like 69 or whatever.
69. It was 73,
okay.
and and it's tailor made because it's Paul Newman, and you know that I fucking love Paul Newman.
Yep.
And and so movie release dates happens, and
the whole thing was tailor made because 2 of them are best
picture winners. I thought about this after the fact. It was just one of those things where it was like
the whole thing was just fucked, dude.
yeah. And what are you gonna do? It happens.
Nothing.
We've seen it happen to people
Yeah.
before. Spinners and opponents. I think didn't we beat top 10 getting spinners and opponents? Isn't that what happened?
I don't know. Probably. Sounds right.
I think they spinner. Yeah, right. They called us team Spinner's Choice for a long time.
Yeah, that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
I hate these fans.
So then the respin happens, or it goes to my turn. I spin, and it's Spinner's Choice. And this is the real time actual moment that happens there. Well, actually, first of all, tell me what's happening in your mind when that happens.
I spin opponent's choice, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to put on the best show that these fans have ever seen.
So I get spinners, and you're checked out.
I'm already checked out. I've been checked out since I spun opponents.
So I walk over to Riley and Dagnino, and Dagnino's kind of up on the ropes, and he's like, what are you gonna give him? What are you gonna give him? And I'm kind of looking around, and I'm in the.
I know. What are you gonna take? You mean?
Yeah. What are you gonna take? I want to spin again. And he goes, hang on, come here. What are you gonna take? And I was like, I'm gonna spin again. I want to spin again. Riley looks down at me, and it's Riley's birthday, and he's like, he's already drunk. Yeah. And I look down at him, and I go, I want to spin again. He goes, okay, yeah. Riley's just excited. It's like, strategically a bad decision. Don't do that. Just win the match.
I mean, honestly, it's not a bad decision. You can't really lose the match at this point. I have 5 points.
No, I mean 100%.
Yeah.
Which is why I scream into the microphone, I can't lose.
Yeah.
But like Riley's just like, if I was outside of the ring, I would look at Riley, and I still think, despite the show, I would say that's a bad decision. But if you want to do it,
I am an FBI agent.
So.
And here's the other thing: is Ben goes Spinner's Choice. Yeah. If you watch the video back, I walk up to him.
Yeah.
And you actually didn't hear me in the ring.
Yeah.
But I walk up and I go, I love that.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Because at the end of the day, you're still my friend.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I want to put on a good show, and that is a beautiful moment. Like I had to get over myself and just be like, this is a beautiful moment.
Because, the greatest thing about the whole thing was even though the stakes were relatively low because the lead was so big at that point, it was still exciting to do it live.
Yeah.
And the fans loved it.
Yeah.
And, like, I loved
loved
doing it. The whole thing.
It was great. It was great.
And I guarantee, in the same way that when you and I say things in promos that they show up in later videos.
Yeah,
me screaming "I can't lose" is going to be in every fucking promo of mine forever.
I don't actually know if that will. I think it's I want to spin it again.
Yeah.
I think it shows you hitting opponents. I mean, hitting spinners.
Yeah.
And then spinning again.
Yeah.
That's the moment because it's so ballsy.
Yeah, sweet.
It's real ballsy.
I did have a second where I was like, this could go very badly.
It couldn't though. I understand your logic, but like, no matter what you land on, even if you score 0 points, you're still up by 12 or whatever.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the likelihood of me lose. Yeah.
It's basically impossible. You have to not get one question right. I have to steal, and you have to miss all your questions in round 3.
Yeah. I mean,
it could happen.
If it happens, I'm the dumbest player that's ever played Schmoedown, and I'll never live it down.
Right.
Which is why. So I spin it again, and it hits again. And so this is where we pause the program to just acknowledge something here. I know, and you know, everybody knows that having an electronic wheel at the live shows is not ideal. It's not what you want. It's not because look.
It's not because of the rigging. It's because I don't have something I can grab onto to set. It's like, it'd be like if someone shot me in the head, be like, I want to kill myself. And I'd be like, cool, I'll shoot you in the head.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do it. If I'm going to go down with a fucking opponents and 2 spinners, I want you to spin spinners twice, and I want to spin opponents.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I want to feel it.
And I just think, I mean, from the perspective of showmanship that you want to touch the wheel, yes, I agree. 2, like, to make something extraordinarily clear to everybody in the Action Army, to any fan, to even, like, if you're not a fan of the Army and you've literally just tuned into this video to see us talk about this, I know, and Drew knows, there is no chance, none at all, that this league is rigged. None. Because we know Christian. And if Christian was rigging it and he was setting up fake outcomes, he would lose interest. Christian's a creative guy. He does a lot of shows. I've asked him about this before. Obviously, wrestling is fixed. This is not. If you wanted to make it wrestling, he wouldn't want to do it. It's just, you wouldn't do movie trivia. You would do something else. Doing movie trivia fake is really dumb.
And again, it's not even quite about the showmanship. It's about selecting your own fate.
Yeah.
It's about being the person that's in charge of like your own destiny, if you will. And like, I want to feel that I spin movie release dates and opponent's choice. I want to be the person that spins just too hard or just too soft. And I'm the one that lands where I landed. It's just so you have the feeling of being like, I'm the one that did it. I made my bed. I got to lay in it.
And right now, the only wheel we have is the one you guys see in the studio matches. There's not a broken down wheel that's going to be cost effective to ship.
It's heavy and it's awkward.
And it's fragile.
It's fragile.
It breaks.
Yes.
So that's what we have right now. And my issue with it is the same issue that every fan has, which is that even though I know and Drew knows that there's no chance that it's manipulated,
you don't. Because you don't sit there in the meetings.
It's indefensible because you're a fan and you're watching, and a lot of the comments reflect that. And so it's an unfortunate way for the match to go. It is what it is for now, but I think it just needs to be acknowledged, which is that, like...
So go sign up for patreon.com/teamaction, and then with your extra money, put it towards
Schmoedown. Yeah, exactly. Because it's just, if you want to try to pick nits, it doesn't make you feel good. So now let's get to the next part of the match, because this is where it gets really exciting.
The chair hit. Which like... God damn it, are you and I just the kings of picking our egos up off the floor, throwing it out the window, and making a bigger jackass out of ourselves?
We go to Oscars on the respin, and it's like, I was glad there was one hard question, because it was the only moment in the entire match where I got to be like, I am good at trivia. Like,
which is funny, because in that moment when that question is asked, I walk over to the side, and I go, hey, Rox, I'm really sorry, you're not going to get the FaceTime you wanted. And I go, hey, RMB, I'm about to get TKO. You need to get ready for the chair.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I say to both of them.
When I'm repeating Grace Kelly, that whole thing?
Yes.
Yeah, so I get the first one, and it's actually funny about this. This is good for you guys that are fans of us and want to know us, see us do well. On the bike in the morning, the day before we went, I did 45 minutes on a bike. And I used to time myself going back 60 years in Oscars in the top 5 categories. Picture, director, actor, actress, supporting. And I would do 60 years and try to do it in 20 minutes. I hadn't done it in like a year plus. And I knew that going into the match. I was like, okay, I'm requesting Oscars. I'd better do it. And on the bike, I started doing it. And I realized that I hadn't done the new Oscars because they had happened since I did that last. And the only one I couldn't remember was Allison Janney winning the supporting actress for I, Tonya. I couldn't remember that it had happened.
It's funny.
So I walked up to my room and I looked it up. And
I knew your answers other than Grace Kelly.
Yeah, it's the only hard one.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny that like that's the one that when I had to look up, and of course I got it in the match. And so then Grace Kelly happens.
That was like when I asked JTE before his match who voiced Miss Potts in Beauty and the Beast, and he got asked about it in the match.
In the match.
Angela Lansbury, and I was like, I looked at him, I was like, you're fucking welcome, dude.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Out of all the movies and all the people.
So the fighter happens, you say the answer.
Because if you didn't, if I was like, this motherfucker is going to do it.
He's gonna
draw it out and torture me.
I'm a sports guy. I'm obsessed with stats, and I would never do that to myself. So I like being one of the most accurate players. And so it happens.
I got more questions right in your round 2 than mine.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. It's great. It's great.
It's great.
And so it finishes, and everybody's coming up on stage, and we're all getting ready, and Riley's moving the podium, and the fans are looking. And it honestly, in this moment, for me, it happened a little faster than I was.
And for me, it was like happening in slow motion.
How to be 100% honest. Roca grabbing you. Did you want to kill someone?
No. Okay. I actually didn't care about Roca grabbing me.
You were like fully in it.
Yeah. What I did not like was the moving of the podiums.
Because it was too obvious. It was too obvious.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
And too obvious. And like, we still could have done it without them doing that.
Yeah, Riley started doing it and I was confused.
Well, and the other thing is like, and this is no slight on Dan, but like, Dan shouldn't have been the guy moving the podium. He like dropped it. It was like too heavy for him. And
yeah,
he had, and not even, it might have not even been too heavy. It could have been too awkward because he had the belt.
Yeah.
So it was like trying to balance the belt with moving the podium. It was just kind of weird.
We didn't rehearse the podium move. That's why it was.
No, it was just like oh yeah, the podiums will be out of the way.
Well, that's why I started getting taken out of the moment, was because we hadn't rehearsed the podium move.
Right.
They started moving podiums, and I was thinking to myself,
you're like, what's happening? Or
yeah, I didn't know. I was like, wait a minute, this is obvious something's going to happen. Do I not know what's about to happen?
Right. Did something change?
And literally, as I'm realizing this, I kind of look around, I look over, and you're coming at me with the chair. And
Booker's strong.
He's a big,
he's a strong.
He's a big man.
Like I love because like him and I talked, and it was like I'm gonna hold the chair like this,
yeah,
and he'll grab it out of my hand.
Yeah. That's
strong. It's strong. You can feel when someone's strong grabbing something from you.
That's the coolest.
Yeah, it was cool. So Booker like yanking it from me, looking at me. I was like, okay, I'm out, bro. I'm out of here.
Did you feel like you're a fucking performer? Like I'm getting a real look.
I felt like we both did. I felt like we were wrestlers. I felt like we were true wrestlers, and I felt like he was the WWE champion, and it was my first show.
Yeah.
And it was like I was looking at him like I can't believe I was about to take that cheap shot. Just let me go.
Yeah.
You know.
And so you're running away, and John's grabbing you, and this is as and he hands me the chair,
and I go throw me. What he was like, I go fucking throw me.
Yeah.
Like I like say it because he's like because the other thing is he's not supposed to throw me. I'm supposed to be the one guiding it.
And there's some pent up past animosity with you and John. So it's like that moment is like him putting his hands on you. I'm sure there's just like you're just trying to kind of direct traffic. Like, look, man. Just do this right.
Yeah, just do it. Just put me, because at the same time, John also doesn't want to hurt me.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
yeah, we're all friends.
We're all,
you know, and so he throws you. And how did the stomach hit feel? Did it?
Perfect.
It was good.
Yeah, because it barely even touched me. You know what I mean?
I think you walked over to me at one point. Maybe it was in round 2, and you leaned in and you said, "Keep that chair low."
Yeah,
because I kept it too high, and that's what cut your lip in the rehearsals.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even the fact that you kept it too high. It was like my head was too low.
You were charging in.
But what it was is I came at you too quickly, so the back of the chair came up.
Yeah.
And Christian saw it almost hit my face. And he's like, if that hits your face, it's going to break your nose. And that's when I'm like, we can't have my nose broken. But yeah, so at one point I'm like, remember to keep that chair steady.
So I catch you in the stomach, and...
Did it feel sweet?
It's all happening so fast.
Right.
And yeah, it felt sweet. And
you can tell by your face in the overhead hit.
And I wound up with the chair, and it was just like, all right, I gotta crack you. I do think I hit you harder in rehearsal, but I tried to come down. I think I could have come down harder, but yeah, I crack you, and people go crazy. And then this is my favorite shot in the video.
It looked good.
You go down, and it cuts to me. And I do the thing that guys in movies do.
They fix their jacket.
No, where you go in with one hand, you unbutton the jacket because it's been closed the whole time. Like you're like, I'm out of breath. I'm gonna open the jacket.
Right.
It's like, and I'm staring down at you, and then of course Finstock had been drinking, so he missed his mark, Did you know this? This is one of my favorite things. It's classic Bobby Gucci. He's hammed.
Yeah.
But
drinking vodka all day.
Instead of walking over and standing in line to do the 5, he walks over there and goes, "You got knocked the fuck out." He's supposed to walk over. He just kills the moment.
Oh,
we all walk over and throw up the hands, and I throw up the last 5. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Again, Action Army.
Did you feel your balls suck up into your body?
I still do. I
hate it.
It's a show, and the thing is, there's a level of respect, camaraderie, friendship with every member of the Horsemen. So like one way or another. So it's going to be a great experience, and it's going to be a part of the show. And like I'll get closer with Dan and Roca and Bobby, I'm sure, through the process.
Yeah. It's like how Ben Affleck refuses to wear Yankees hats in movies.
That's like
you put on a Yankees hat.
I mean, I told him.
Red Sox fan.
You guys have seen me in interviews say absolutely no, outright no.
Yeah. I
would never do it because that's what I said to Christian when he first asked me. I said it like 6 times.
Yeah.
Like it was a. It's funny because it is a show, but like you and I both had that real rivalry with those guys, especially with Roca, where it was like, I'm never gonna play nice with you, man.
Yeah.
Ever. Like ever.
You beat both of us in singles, and you beat Team Action.
And so when the storyline was proposed and everything, it was like, all right. But it is the one thing that could piss Andrew off the most.
It is the best thing to make the Army freak out, make me freak out, make all the Team Bateman, Team Guy, Team Action fans just lose their shit.
And he knows as performers that he has us close to the top of the whole league, and to put me on the Horsemen elevates our rivalry even further. It makes it even bigger. It makes it even more. And
here's the other thing. And this, again, there's been so many people talking about Ben joining the Horsemen to break it up from within. It's never been discussed.
No.
I'm telling you right now, it's never been discussed, even though it's a cool idea. It could still happen, though. That's the other idea that's great about it, is that, like, the fact that all the fans are out there saying, well, he's just in there to do it, doesn't mean in a year you can't. You know, but that's not the plan right now.
Yeah, I mean, and like the thing is, like, just like you beating Dan or any other storyline, like you can't think that far ahead with Schmoedown because like outcomes are not predetermined. You have to see how the matches go. I mean, look, everybody and their mother at this point has imagined one of us standing up on a stage, and of course, still Dre coming on, and the other one coming out, and the crowd losing it. Like, yeah, we've talked about it 100 times. It's a great idea. It seems really fun, and who knows, maybe someday that will happen.
But also, Founding Fathers playing Who's the Boss for the championship is not that far off.
No, it's a big deal, and like it. Honestly, it's as good a storyline for the league right now as you could have come up with. And so, you know, the chair hit happens, the show ends, we go do our, our post interviews. And
did you feel like a sellout when you threw up the 5? Or did you just feel hyped?
50-50.
Okay, that's fair.
Because
you're still respectable.
Because the sellout moment was when I threw up a 5, and I didn't feel like it was my moment. It felt like it was the Horseman moment.
Right.
Which is where I'm like, I never liked this. I never liked the idea of being a part of just like some other, like, I'm not the biggest star in the Horseman. Dan's the biggest star in the Horseman. Dan's the biggest star in the whole fucking league. He's Dan Murrell. He's the greatest of all time. Like, no matter what happens with showmanship, he has remained and will remain the biggest star in the league unless he just loses a lot. And like, I think at this point I'm at least on par with Roca, but Roca's also a multi-time champion. Like,
he's won singles twice, and he's won
teams.
Or I mean, wait, 3 times? No, 2 times.
Two
times. Yeah, and he's won teams.
I mean, like, I'd like to think I'm as big a star as Roca, and sure, in terms of, I guess, like, fanfare maybe, but like, again, if we're the same level and he has 3 belts and I have 0, like, it's not really much of a competition in the all-time rankings.
Right.
So, like, it just, Riley's a 2-time champ. Like, I'm looking around and I'm just like, even Gucci, Gucci has no titles. He's like on my level as a star. Gucci's one of the most popular players in the whole league. So
which is funny because the original Horsemen were all champions.
Yeah. So,
I mean, the original 5 Horsemen.
Yeah. And so that's like kind of my thing is like, but at the same time, it was a huge hype moment. It was fun. It was fun to do it the way we did it with the chair, and then you're on the ground. I throw it up. We walk out. So we go to the post game.
I was knocked the fuck out, man.
Yeah. How did that feel? Talk to me about that. You do the second fall. You're on the ground.
Yeah, I actually watched back the second fall. It's pretty sweet.
So when you're on the ground after the first hit and the crowd's going crazy, what's going on? Are you?
Honestly, I was trying to think about my breathing and what it looks like when I saw MMA and boxers get knocked out.
Yeah.
They're like breathing very heavily, but they're not responsive.
Okay.
That's what I was just trying to do that.
You're just trying to sell it.
That's all I was trying to do. And then, I thought about how long I'd been knocked out.
Yeah.
And that's when I rolled over and was trying to come to it. It's also one of the things where it's like you're trying to figure out what you're trying to feel out the show,
right.
See where we're at, and I couldn't do that on my stomach. I had to turn her over on my back.
Like you're trying to like be in the moment and sell the best thing, but also not like make it about you because you're on the ground.
Exactly, and also kind of gauge like, okay, if this is starting to dissipate, when do I get up?
Yeah.
And so
should I give my character a limp? Maybe?
Yeah, so exactly. So R&B comes in and Jen says her thing, Roxy says her thing. That's when I'm like, okay, I need to get up. And it's the same thing as anything that I've ever done performing. It was just for some reason when R&B picked me up, I was like, you need to let go. You need to let go. You need to let go. I was like, fucking let go of me, because he wouldn't let go.
Huh.
And it almost ruined the moment. And it's not a slight on R&B because
he just didn't know it was coming.
He didn't know it was coming. The crowd was screaming. We couldn't hear anything. But for some reason, I was just like, this feels right.
Yeah.
It just feels right. I've watched enough wrestling. I'll pull the Ric Flair. And then, the carry out of the ring. I did the fucking, Tommy Conlon to Joel Edgerton carry out. And, I just tried to sell it.
And then we went and did a shot of tequila backstage.
We did a shot of tequila backstage. We
got
did a couple of them.
We got hammed.
We got real drunk together.
There was a big party. It was really fun. It was that's when the video's going long, so we won't get to talk about that much.
Yeah,
but it was a big party. We got to meet a lot of people. And
took some great pictures.
Super fun. The post game interviews. Yours is awesome. You have the ice. I loved this in the post game. You were like walking over towards the other room, and you had ice. And Christian was like, "Dude, are you okay?" And you were like, "Yes, for the interview." Like,
oh yeah,
because you wanted to have the ice for the interview.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I forgot. And I watched yours, and it was what you'd expect.
I say the one thing about Roca, and I stood next to this guy.
Yeah.
It's another one of those moments where I say shit sometimes. I'm like, why did I say that? Where I was like, no, not that one. The line about the cooking and eating the. Do you remember this?
In your post game.
And I was like, I'm going to cook and eat the vegan. It was so stupid. I don't know why I
said
said
it. What were you trying to accomplish?
This is exactly what happened. It's literally like I said, she's like, do you feel like you got the monkey off your back? And I'm like, well, I can either say yes, or I can say I feel like I killed the monkey, cooked and ate the monkey. Right. And I'm like, well, animal rights. I shouldn't talk about cooking. I'm like, I shouldn't talk about eating a monkey. That's like really not very legit.
Right. So you're like trying to cover your bases.
I should have just said in totally like, animal rights responsible way, but I said vegan, which doesn't make any sense because vegans wouldn't eat monkeys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone really eats monkeys.
I don't know why I said that.
The boss eats monkeys and drinks winter juice, apparently.
So that's the post game. You go over to yours. You get another nice moment of the Roxy storyline, which is fun, which is her she's defending you. Which
I was almost worried I sounded like too much of a bitch because my voice starts to crack.
I thought you were going to start crying. I thought it was great.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to go for. I wanted to sound like I was going to start crying.
It's terrific.
I wanted people to... Because here's the thing. I can go to The Rock's heel.
Yeah.
To where I'm not even really a heel.
Yeah, right.
I'm just a bad guy that everyone loves.
You wanted to show off your soft side.
I wanted people to feel bad for me.
Yeah.
Because it was the perfect moment for people to... I've never had a moment where people could actually feel bad for me in 2 years of competing.
You got to keep the character interesting.
Yeah.
Just like any piece of writing in any show, you've got to find ways to keep Dastardly around. And
you have to evolve. You can't do the same, just like how you did. You can't do the same thing forever. So, what's next? I've got Inky and the Brain next. Fucking jobber pieces of shit. No, I'm joking. I love Rachel and her teammate. No, I'm joking. They're both great. And honestly, I gotta win. This has gone from what would appear to be a jobber match because Inky and the Brain is relatively new and the teams they beat are kind of whatever. But here's the thing. They both work in the movie space.
Yep.
Rachel knows her shit.
So does Devon, man.
Devon
Have you seen him get Will Smith?
No, I was going to say
he's
Devon.
Done it twice.
Yeah, I know. and he's knocked it out of the park. Devon, and I love Devon.
Yeah.
He's actually like very funny and charismatic, and I like the way he thinks on his toes in matches. But it went from a moment of being like, well, if I beat Ben and Inky and the Brain wins, whatever. Now it's like,
well, that's the shitty.
If I don't win,
I'm
just done.
It's the shitty thing about
not having predetermined outcomes.
And also, I was going to say, it's the shitty thing about the whole, like, because, we saw it, Riley and Snyder, spinners and opponents happened. We just saw it happen. Right. We've seen it happen in a bunch of matches.
Yep.
When that happens, it runs the risk of happening what happened, which is a KO, like it's or TKO, right? Like
a complete knockout
because
early on.
And so what's tough about that is now the narrative surrounding you as a player.
Do I have 2 round 2 TKOs and 2 round 2 TKOs?
Maybe you're like the most. You're
I'm just literally ever. That guy. Yeah.
But like because of that, now the knock on you is like, well, Drew, he's a fake singles player. You see what happened with him and Ben? It's like he got the hardest categories ever, and like it was a joke. That was a joke. Like the competition was
like I could have bullshit almost anyone else's opponent's choice of their choice. Like let's say I play Riley and I spin opponents, he gives me scores and soundtracks.
Yeah. I
know Michael Giacchino is like 80% of the answers.
Hans Zimmer is half.
Exactly. And if it's not those two, it's John Murphy. You know what I mean? Like
totally. I mean,
there's a lot of years to say out loud.
And yeah. So I mean, it's an important match. I think you and I will match up again probably at some point.
Whether it's in teams or singles. What about my next match?
I have to pick your next singles match. That's the thing. And then as far as my career goes, I mean, I have the winner of.
It's got to be Janine and Mike. That's the only thing it can make sense to be.
Well, they're right below me in the rankings and they're playing, so I think that seems right.
What I would assume. It's either that or like Chance and Oyama, right? They're the other 2 singles playing.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
I feel like you couldn't play them because I don't think they have enough. Yeah,
it'll get announced soon. I think probably whatever it is, but it's in that range. So I'm gonna compete in singles right now. I'll have another match, and I try to get closer to a belt. In teams, Who's the Boss has now lost 2 high-profile matches, and
I hope Janine destroys Mike and then destroys you.
I love Janine. I was talking smack to her today.
I love Janine. I know. I saw.
She's great.
She's the best.
So anyway, that's kind of what's going on there. That's what's next. The rivalry's not dead, obviously. I hope we don't have to do something like this. Even if it's in teams and it's not live, I think it's going to feel a lot less like this. I think this is a pretty unique beast.
Yeah.
Live on the road.
Well, and also because, and how much more I like teams over singles because I feel like it's just a place where my antics can shine.
Yeah.
Wow. What an event.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us. I'll give you that.
It was a hell of a time, and we appreciate you guys for sticking with us, for watching. Thank you for being patrons. We try to deep dive and give you guys the truth on this. So if you're watching this and you're a $2 patron and you want to upgrade, there's sweet perks. Go check it out, patreon.com/teamaction. And otherwise, see you at the next one. So thanks. For
yeah. All right.